Hi everyone, it's Amanda here. I'm just going to walk you through the next step in our organizational model, which is actually looking now at your role, signing your role, leveling yourself on each individual piece of your role, and looking at your rubric to make sure that we're in agreement and that you understand our point of view where it regards you in PAC as a team member. So I'm going to walk through these different documents today, and if at any point you have questions, feel free to pause the video, write them down, and then we will schedule a one-on-one call to talk about your specific rubric and role and go through and make sure that I have all of the updated files that you need. So I'm going to go ahead and share our first document, which is the rubric. This is something that you have seen before. It shouldn't be brand new, and if it is, then it's possible that you did not get to see yours originally when we started these in October of 2015. So what this is a combination of your self-assessment along with our assessment that we've seen and noticed based on some information and evidence that we have for this year. Now, some of you have more evidence than others because you're much more involved. But as we go through, you'll notice again our titles up here, our levels are novice, meaning you're aware of it, but it's something that's still pretty new, and you're needing sort of a lot of assistance to understand how to use it in your role. And when we talk about this rubric, this encompasses everything you do with PAC. So it's not just one aspect. So that's something to consider as well. If you're proficient in something, then it means that this is comfortable for you independently. You're not having to ask a lot of questions, you understand how things work, and you're able to do this skill without a lot of help. You may have a couple struggles here and there, but it's pretty comfortable for you. To move to accomplished, it means that not only are you comfortable on your own, but you've made it your own, and now you're helping others develop this skill at a novice or proficient level. Once you move to master, this means not only is this not even a thought for you anymore, it's so comfortable, it's habit, but you're also helping others become accomplished. So there's a fine line between accomplished and master, but when we think about it, if I've assisted someone and I've coached them through and they are able to do it on their own without my assistance, that's proficient. If they are able to then turn around and help someone else do it, and they have made it their own and they've become accomplished, then I would move to master. But we're not talking about one person here. We're talking about a team, making sure that within everything we're doing related to this role, you're hitting those marks. So it's tough to be a master. That's why we have it at the top of our chart. So when you look here, this assessment is not a self-assessment. This is an assessment that we provide. But if when you get your rubric, you feel like things have changed or you've really improved or maybe you're not where I thought you were, you can simply add an X in a different color. For example, red. And then if there's something you wanted to say over here, again, change it to red. Feel free to respond directly on the document and say, still not working with a team on this, but confident that I can do this myself. So if this is where you feel like, ooh, I marked it accomplished, and you're really still proficient, that's totally fine. And the same going the other direction. If you agree and there's nothing that you want to add or change, you can just leave the X. But if you want to add some text down here at the bottom on top of what I've said, feel free to. So once you look through this, we're looking at PPA in all aspects of your role, not just with learners. This also means working with the leadership team, or it means working with your peers. It involves coaching language, not only when it's a learner, but also have you been able to coach someone who might be your leader in the company through a difficult situation, or when you've had struggles with how something is worded or how things are presented. Are you using your coaching language there too? So remember, to go from proficient to accomplished, it means that you're not only doing it yourself every time, but it's something that you're helping others to grow and do as well. Multiple perspectives, again, is looking, can I look at it from your perspective? And if I can see it from lots of different perspectives in everything I'm doing, then I'm proficient. If I'm still working hard to figure out how to adapt that skill, or how to change my tone, or how to change in the moment, then I may have a little bit of novice to proficient. You might see these different size X's and think that there's been a mistake. What these X's mean, the larger X is where you mostly are. So for example, in coaching language, I'm mostly accomplished. I'm working with other people, with other team members to develop this. I have some people who've grown to proficient under my work with them using coaching language. I've coached through some difficult situations. But this little niggling X here, this tiny little X, it means there's still something holding me back. So the piece for me that's holding me back is that sometimes when I'm coaching peers at a peer level, there can be some defensive feelings that are created, and it's something I'm working on, trying to figure out how to decrease that feeling. So that's my piece holding me back here at Proficient, but for the most part, in almost every part, I've moved to accomplish. I've worked really hard to do that. So when you see the little X on this side, it means there's one piece or maybe a couple pieces just holding you back, but for the most part, you've moved on to this next level. When you see it in this direction with the multiple perspectives, for example, I'm still mostly proficient. I can see other people's perspectives. I can work to show these perspectives rather than doing for others. I need to work to have them show. So I'm becoming accomplished because I'm getting other people to see other perspectives, but I'm still wanting to hold on to it and show it that they got it in these meetings. So I have a little X on accomplished. I've achieved a couple of goals in this multiple perspectives piece, but I'm not really fully accomplished yet. I'm mostly proficient, moving towards accomplished. With agenda awareness, this is a big one because we have a lot of moving parts within PAC. So again, I'm accomplished. I've got a lot of people who are moving to proficient in this, but I'm still working on the accountability piece to move myself to master, to turn others into accomplished when it comes to being agenda aware. So again, I'm mostly accomplished, but I am working towards master in this piece. Agenda flexibility, it's just simply accomplished for me right now. There's nothing holding me back, but there's also nothing pushing me forward right now. I've just recently become at this level where people are getting more comfortable and flexible without being too flexible and not letting others know when things are happening. As for project completion and productivity, once you get down to these pieces in this rubric, the wording changes a little bit. So this is where if you're new to a role or you're needing a lot of calls or check-ins with the lead who's gotten you started in something, or whether it's me or Tipo or any of the other leadership team, then that would keep you a novice, not because you're not good at something, but because it's brand new, and so you're still learning the way that this works to do it well. If you have the knowledge of the role and you've gotten most of it done independently, and you're now at the point where you're still wanting a monthly or a weekly check-in, but it's not to do all the little pieces here and there, then that moves you to proficient. But this still shows I've got it, but I stick right within the lines. Once you move to accomplished in this one, it's becoming proactive. You're no longer waiting. You're developing your own systems. You're helping others within the system without prompting from a leadership member. You've decided a team that maybe you need to meet with to get something moving a little bit more quickly. So, and then for yourself, you're completing things above and beyond or in a really efficient way. You may even be the one that's providing those check-ins for others. So you may be dinging a leadership team member or someone else that you're working with on the team to say, hey, I thought we were supposed to do this week. Any word on that? So using your coaching language, but also providing those check-ins can put you into accomplished. So then if you're master, you're competent in this role, and you're not only noticing when we need to have team huddles and who could be a part of that, but you're actually shifting your role to someone else in a way that they feel confident and competent in an accomplished way as well. So you're not just sort of throwing something at them. You're saying, I've been doing this, here are all these systems, let's work through this. This is how it works, and you're showing, not telling, and you're working through the AELC with them to take something over. And then obviously you would be providing check-ins for everyone involved in something, whether it's from the top to the bottom of that one team component. When we move to financial effectiveness, the one piece that really affects most of you as independent contractors is that weekly timeliness of turning in expense reports on Sundays with all of the pieces aligned in the exact way that Dan is looking for. So because that is not a strength of mine, and it is something that I am really striving for, and I've gotten 3 weeks in a row, but it's still a new skill for me, it's novice. So with most pieces, though, I am proficient when it comes to the course, when it comes to money thinking around the company and being able to sort of project and plan and decide how many things need to sell to make up this amount, or covering overall salaries for the whole team. Those are things where I'm proficient, and I can do them on my own. When it moves to accomplished is simply in the way that getting other people to do the very basic thing that I am not strong in is something that I'm working on, but also working on having others set up their project projections so that we know where the money's going to go before we even say yes to a project. So that's something that I've spent a lot of time and energy in. So that's what's moved me to accomplish. But for the most part, I'm proficient. But I've got a little niggler back here and then one that's pushing me forward. Last but not least is this piece here, collaboration and leadership skill, which is a big category. For the most part, because many of you are taking on collaboration roles, you will probably find yourself in the novice or proficient category simply because there haven't been a lot of efforts yet to include you in some of the bigger projects as a lead. That doesn't mean that you can't take lead on something or that you won't take lead on something. It's just that's where we are right now as we try to shuffle out this system and figure out who falls where. So where I am here is accomplished. You'll notice I don't have X's on either side. I'm simply in this realm. I'm trying to get everyone to this level, and I have the majority here in the novice to proficient range. But it's still a skill that we're working through as a team, so I'm still here at accomplished. And there's no way for me to move forward until I have everyone pushing forward into the accomplished realm. Then at the bottom, you'll notice these totals. All this does is count the number of X's in each column and then gives the overall percentage. And then this last piece here is your overall rating on that score. On that rubric. So if you want to pause here and take a little deep breath, this is what you will receive from me, and it will come pre-filled out. The only thing that you should or would do is if you feel like there's a change or an addition that you want to add over here in the right column, just try it in another color. And you can feel free to put a big X or a little x. Try not to change what's already here, just so that it's clear when I see it what you're thinking, and then we'll talk one-on-one and we'll go through it and come to an agreement together. So that's the first step. We're going to take a little pause here, and we're going to shift over to the roll sheet. Now, you all have seen the roll sheet, which is very detailed, and mine will look different than yours, but I want to walk you through what to do because this first part is a self-assessment. So I've given you the pieces of your role that you're in charge of, and now you're assessing yourself at novice, proficient, accomplished, or master. Keeping in mind that the majority of us, even in the leadership team, are at novice and proficient for many of our pieces because everything is so new to us. Even if something has gone well once or twice, I'm still at proficient because I don't know yet how I'd handle if I have a sticky situation or if something comes up that I wasn't expecting.